So the raised bed is over here. I added some soil from our compost. Here's our compost heap. Earlier in the season, and mixed it up with the rototiller. So we've got our rat trap set up over here. So we'll probably leave it there for now. We'll see if the rats go after the tomatoes. They have in years past. Last year they didn't really go for them, but we were pretty effective at keeping under control with the rat trap. And I've got my camera here, a wildlife camera, looking at this. So we're gonna have to move this obviously because the beans go in this corner section. And then I'll plant the tomatoes over there, and we'll put the peppers in here, and the zucchini probably, because zucchini, you need to give it some room to grow out onto the gravel, otherwise it'll take over the whole bed because it gets pretty big. So we'll plant the zucchinis in here probably and let them grow out onto the gravel here, and the peppers on this side, and then the tomatoes will go over here. Once I get all my cages and so forth set up, I'm going to take a look at those. So I've got this bean, we bought pole beans. I got this bean cage. I'll show you how I set that up. And we got these tomato cages. We got some folding ones and a couple of circular ones. So that'll be enough for us this year, and we'll see how it turns out. I'll get the cages set up, and then I'll show you how I plant one of them, of each. All right, before we put the cages on, we got to put the watering system in. So I got this drip irrigation set up here that connects to this pipe right here, and that's controlled by a automatic control valve up here, so we can do automatic watering, so we don't have to worry about watering it by hand. And for drip irrigation, you need to reduce the pressure of the water coming out of the tap. So we've got this water supply coming off of this hose bib here, and it goes down this item right here. This is a check valve to prevent backflow of water into the regular water system we're drinking. So, and it's also got this pressure reducing valve down here. This reduces it to, I think, 50 psi, something like that. Although I found with this raised bed, that's a little bit too high still. So I use this pressure reducing nozzle, you could call it. You put this in here, and it'll further reduce the pressure by restricting the flow. So at this rate, you can just, the drips will work better, they won't go spraying and so forth. So we're going to connect this up here. A little bit of water left over from last year, or actually 2 years ago, I guess. Let that come out. And then we're going to put this, do we have one on there? So that's supposed to go with the cap. Yeah, okay. That washer should have gone with the cap, so we'll leave that in the cap. This has a washer in there to prevent leaks. So we just hook this up, and we lay it out on the bed. Got hand tight, and these lines go out here, and then I have a right angle over here. Come around the corner. See if I may do this the right way. I get that upside down. So I have to flip this over for this to work correctly. So we got a 50-50 chance. So we'll flip this over. Yeah, that's better. Flip this over. Okay, now it should be the right length. Come over here, rotate them around. And once they're in place, they'll be held in place by the cages. So that's not a problem. This one's the middle one, okay. I'll get this all lined out, and then I'll show you the final result. All right, I got the hoses laid out. Now it's time to open these cages up. So these are square cages, but they fold in half. Makes it easier to store them. They do get kind of hung up a few times if you're taking them apart after the winter. Eventually they square up. So there's a square cage. It's got tines on the bottom, so we just set this up. I usually put the one set of tubes outside the tines, one set of tubes in the middle, one tube in the middle, and one tube on the outside. So put this pretty close here. We have plenty of these, so we don't need to have something on the end here by itself. So once we get these in, then we'll plant the tomatoes inside the cage, and actually between them. And that'll help support the tomatoes as they start growing. So I'll get the rest of the cages up and I'll see how it looks when we're done. So we got these 3 cages in, so that covers this part of the bed. Now in the center, in the corner here, we're going to put this pole bean cage. So that's got to go span this area here. Kind of jam it in there. I'll get a hammer or something to hammer it in a little bit farther. Alright, I got my handy dandy 5-pound sledge. I'm going to pound this in. Make sure we don't cut the hose. We don't cut these hoses there. You notice I'm leaving the black plastic in place. The black plastic, keep that to help solarize the beds. So we alternate bed. This is our one bed, and then our second bed is over here. So I alternate the beds every year, give it a chance to rest, and put some more compost in and let it rest for a year. Helps prevent diseases and helps replenish the soil. And leave the black plastic on there to help solarize it. So when it gets hot, it'll kill any bacteria or fungus and stuff that's in the soil. And also, it keeps the cats from using it as a litter box. So that's another plus. We have a cat. She doesn't spend too much time in the garden, but I've seen other cats try to use it. So we just leave it here and we'll just plant right through it. And then at the end of the season, we'll throw it away and replace it. So it lasts about a year. This isn't super expensive weed fabric, but it's sufficient for what we need. This needs to last a year out in the sun. You see it's already got some tears in it. That doesn't really affect it that much. As long as there's no big openings, then the cats won't use it as a litter box. Alright, so that's the bottom section of the pole bean cage. And then we got the center section goes on top. That's in here. So maybe this side goes down. It shouldn't really matter. I'm sure. Okay, it doesn't want to go on there. Let's see. It looks okay. Maybe when I was pounding with a sledgehammer, I wedged it out a little bit. Probably. That wasn't probably maybe too smart. So. It says to hold on there. It doesn't have to go down too far. It doesn't really matter. And then at the top section, it's got another little insert that goes in the top. Now we have a top cage and a bottom cage, and we can run our twine. Between these. So this is just regular twine you get at the hardware store. Only costs $1. All this lasts probably 5 years, maybe 5 years worth of beans, something like that. So we'll just run the twine from the bottom up to the top, back down to the bottom about 12 times, because we usually try to plant about 12 beans around the outside. We can double those up if we need to, but let's see how it goes as far as germination. Okay, so we've got all the cages up. Here's the 3 tomato cages and our bean pole cage with a string on it, the twine. And we got 2 cages over here for peppers. And right in this section, we're going to plant the zucchini so they can grow out here onto the gravel and stay away from everything else. So we're all set. We're going to try to plant some stuff and see what happens. Also got a bumper crop of poppies this year, California poppies. I pretty much let those grow wherever they want. They are the state flower after all. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Post a comment if you have any questions or ideas, and I'll try to respond. That's all for now, but more videos are coming, and if you want to see them, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification icon if you don't want to miss one. This is STScI signing out, and keep looking up.